I love this kit. It's so small and cute, but I think it needs a friend. Hey, how's it going? In today's video, we have another Zoid to review, the high master model Iguan Marking Plus version from Kotobukiya. I bought this kit from Amazon early in the year for $42.36 Canadian. But because it is from Amazon, the price does fluctuate, so currently as of making this video, it's $49.32 Canadian. And seeing how I just released a review for its rival, the HMM Godos, I find it fitting that I should be reviewing the Iguan now. Though the Marking Plus version was released in March of 2022, it is still based off of the old Iguan that was released in September of 2013. And I'll be reviewing this kit separately, not comparing it to the old design because I don't have one, so I can't really use it as a reference. Don't worry about it being based on the old design. I know old Zoids are quite temperamental, but I'm happy to say, not with this kit. And for a little lore tidbit, the Iguan is the Imperial counterpart to the Helic Republic's Godos. That's why I said they were rivals. Just pretty much grunt suits made to kill each other. Other than that, it barely gets any screen time. But I digress. Let's start the review. Like always, starting with the box. I actually like this box art. You got a couple of Iguans and Molgas just, I guess, patrolling, with some nice looking scenery in the background. On the side of the box, we got an illustration of the Iguan and a bit of lore text in Japanese, which I can't read at all, and some warning labels. Feel free to pause if you want to look at it. On the other side of the box, now we got some images of the model kit itself, got some close-up shots and some neutral poses of the front and back view, and some images showing some extras and accessories, along with the water slide decals that comes included. But that's enough of that, let's take a look at the model kit itself. But here I present to you the fully completed, straight build, high-end master model Iguan Marking Plus version. I did not panel line it, nor did I use any of the decals given. And this is a Marking Plus version, so you actually get water slide decals. I do plan on painting this kit one day, so decided not to use the water slides. As for build, this kit is a relatively small Zoid kit, so it's pretty easy, comparable to the Godos. A very simple design with nothing difficult whatsoever, so something I actually recommend for beginners. The kit does leave some nub marks on these dark gray pieces. Still not too bad, they are small nub marks, so it's not that noticeable. In contrast, the deep red doesn't leave that much bad nub marks, and it looks really good. After you're done with the build, you are left with some extra runners, which you could throw out, or use for extra parts, but you don't need it anymore for this build, as stated by the manual. But there are some exceptions. You are given two canopy options, a normal clear one or a clear green one. I prefer the clear green visor, but you can interchange them if you wish. Also, you are given two extra blasters, so you don't actually have to pull off one of the blasters from his ears, like this picture. Not too much of a big deal, but it's nice that they included that, because I prefer the double ear blaster look anyways. Also, once completed, there is one minor gripe I do have with this kit. So pretty much the whole body is connected by ball joints, and though the joints aren't loose enough where the pieces fall off, they are loose enough to wiggle side to side. Like I said, this is very minor. You can still reposition the Zoid, it's not a big deal. Those ball joints just aren't 100% stable, but they're not bad. They could still be held up and repositioned perfectly fine. Just want to point that out. As for the appearance, similar to the Godos, I just fell in love with the design. Similar build and design, but with enough differences where you could differentiate between the two. Though I prefer the Godos' design, I absolutely love the color that they chose for the Iguan. I found that this red contrasts very well with the dark grays, much more eye-catching than the Godos. And like in Zoid's fashion, there's a lot of panel lining opportunities and surface level details, especially on these flat panels on the kit. There's also a good amount of colored part separation, and the use of different colored grays contrast really well, like you have the dark metallic gray and the lighter grays. And all the mechanical elements found throughout the kit always look so good when it's poking through. Adds a lot of texture and detail onto the kit, and of course it would benefit greatly from a good paint job. But even as a straight build, it still looks very good, and a good counterpart to the Godos. Now, since they share a very similar build, can the same be said about the articulation? Let's take a look. Well, let's start the articulation. But remember what I said, everything's pretty much on a peg and ball joint. So yeah, peg and ball joint for the head, allowing it to swivel side to side and look up and down this far. Similarly, the base of the neck works the exact same way, side to side and up and down. And of course with the peg and ball joint, this allows the head to perfectly 360 rotate. This also applies to the blasters on the side of his head. And in order to open the cockpit, it's better just to pull it right off, which is an option. And you can just flip it open, revealing Silver Steve. In addition, on the back of his neck, there's a dorsal plate which is able to flip up and down. And there's going to be a lot of them along the whole back. Moving on to the arms, it would be able to rotate up and down. But as you can see, these caps over here on his chest kind of get in the way of that. And with how small and compact this kit is, you can see how it prevents it from really rotating. But coming down, both arms do have an upper bicep rotation. There's a decent elbow bend. And you may have noticed the asymmetry of the left arm only having a 4-barrel blaster, with the weapon arm able to wiggle up and down, though it's some kind of movement I wouldn't really count it as articulation. The right arm pretty much functions the exact same way, with the addition of the hand being able to 360 rotate, and the fingers here can move up and down, allowing you to clamp down on the weapon. Body also has a peg and ball joint, allowing you to bend side to side slightly. It could kind of wiggle forward and back. I wouldn't really count it as an ab crunch or back extension, and it could 360 rotate. Though with these pieces on the side, it does get a little cumbersome. And personally, I have no idea what these pieces are called, but they're able to move up and down. But be very careful, they're on a very small peg, meaning they could definitely break if you're not careful. Coming around to the back, we also got this dorsal plate that could flip all the way up, revealing some boosters. Pretty cool. And coming to the leg, this is as far as the leg can open. The ball joints on the hip allow some internal-external rotation. The leg can be raised up this high, which is pretty good. And for it to be raised back, I'm just going to move this blaster, and it could go this far, kind of. The cap on the tail kind of gets in the way. As for the knee bend, oh, the foot fell off. As I was saying, we got this much of a knee bend, which is actually pretty good. Coming to the foot, just going to have to reattach this thing. And we got this much of a dorsiflexion, and this much of an extension, which is not that great. There is a side-to-side pivot though, and due to the design of the foot, it can't rotate. Lastly, we got the tail, which up over here, the joint allows it to move up and down, as well as side to side. The tail is made up of 3 segments, with 2 segments having these dorsal plates. Like the other ones on the body, could flip up and down. The segmented tail do give it a lot of flexibility, being able to move up and down, side to side. And as you can see, this is like the busiest part of the kit. There's all the weapons over here. All the blasters are able to rotate, though because of how cramped it is over here, they do inhibit each other's movements. Similar to the Godos, we also have these tail stabilizers, which are able to 360 rotate and flip forward and back. Overall, the articulation is decent. It's much better than the Godos, because the Godos had all these weapons sticking out that did block a lot of the movement. And without those cumbersome weapons, it's a lot easier to pose with. Not the best articulation, but not the worst. At least the whole time I was doing it, nothing fell off whatsoever, so that's a pretty good positive. As for extra and accessories, we don't got that much. We got the generic pilot figure, Silver Steve. Pulling on the middle dorsal plate allows you to reveal the Zoid core. Always a cool little extra with these kits. And like I mentioned before, you are given an extra Jade Runner, which is a different color. I would like to show you, but I lost mine. Also, you are given 2 additional blasters with handles, so you could equip it on the hand. And yeah, it looks weird, but at least they included that. Yeah, unlike the Godos, this kit doesn't come with much. If you want to put on an action base though for a dynamic pose, there is an action base hole in its butt right over here. So get yourself a display base, not included. I'm using the MSG Flying Neo base. Stick that sucker on and you got it in a dynamic pose. Nothing too impressive, but it's there. Unfortunately, it doesn't have that much extras like the Godos. But keep in mind it is a Zoid kit, so all the weapons are already attached. But as a Zoid, let's see if it has a self-destruct feature. And now coming to the shake test, surprisingly this kit is quite solid. Even though it's based off of an older frame, nothing falls, and when I was working with it, nothing even popped off. And though the frame is very similar to the Godos, the Iguan holds up a lot better. Now if you want dimensions for this small little guy, he's around 5.5 inches tall, close to 14 centimeters, give or take depending on how you position those ear gun things. And when leaned all the way over like this, he's around 8 inches long, or 20.32 centimeters. And as for size comparison, here it is next to the entry grade ARC-72, Master Grade ARC-72, the Origin, my previously reviewed kit, the High Master Model Godos, and yeah, they're pretty much the same size. Next up here it is next to my favorite Zoid model, the High Master Model Koenig Wolf. Then we got Haro, Doraemon, DK, the Master Grade SD Barbados, Baking Soda, and some salsa, also Rubber Ducky. As for shelf presence, it is a relatively small kit, though the colors do stand out more than the Godos. It's still going to be eclipsed by the larger Zoid kits. Another Zoid review finished. What are my final thoughts? Should you get the Iguan? Like the Godos, the Iguan's appearance grew on me. And though I like the Godos' design more, the Iguan's color is very nice. I find it more eye-catching than the Godos. Being able to jam-pack a lot of details onto such a small little kit is very impressive, but it does inhibit the articulation, though not horrible in any way. The small size means a lot of parts do get hung up on each other. But at least it does have a lot of weapons, and it's relatively solid, so that's a good point for the kit. And if you're getting it for $49, I believe that is pretty expensive. But I guess nowadays, with inflation, everything's expensive. But if you keep checking back, maybe you get it for $42, which is a much more reasonable price. So like all my reviews, the opinion is up to you. For $42, I think this kit was pretty worth it. I for one like the appearance of it, and if you're watching this video, I guess you do have some interest in it as well. Try to get it for a lower price. It's a fun, easy build, good for beginners, and it's a cute, derpy little kit. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you like it. I enjoy making it. Would you actually get this kit? Do you actually like it? Do you think it's stupid looking? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.